Hey there, everybody. What's up? Welcome to the Cover Band Central podcast number 208 for Tuesday, February 6th, 2024. I'm Steve Witchell in New Orleans.
What's up, Tony B? Coming to you from New Jersey. What's happening?
Yes, sir. We
All
are live
right, let's
once
go.
again this week. Very good. Anybody that's joining us live, we are broadcasting on the Cover Band Central Facebook page, in the Cover Band Central Facebook group, and on the Cover Band Central YouTube channel. Please join us live. Come in and say hello. It is 7:02 p.m. Central Time.
That's a lot
So,
of places we're broadcasting, Steve.
oh yeah, everywhere.
That's great.
And immediately we had somebody come in and say, "What's up, handsome?" I know who that is. It's Eric, um, bass player in New Orleans. He always calls me or you handsome. He's probably talking to you.
He's probably talking to you, Steve, because he's your friend.
Yeah.
I don't know Eric. Yeah,
Eric is with me going into the Mardi Gras week here.
excellent.
Yeah, but anybody
Up,
else
Eric.
coming in, watching live, come in and say hi. Tell us where you're from, and we will say hello back and talk to you and stuff. But yeah, we're going into Mardi Gras here, buddy.
Any friend of yours, Steve, is a friend of mine.
That's right. Eric's a great guy, great bass player.
Especially when he recognizes handsome men like yourself.
Indeed. First thing we should do is I got my red solo cup here, and a shout out and
Yeah, I got my blue Yeti.
well, Toby
Sorry.
Keith passed away this morning. He was the
Yeah.
one who did the song Red Solo Cup, and I wasn't a big fan. Like I don't know his music really. I know that song. That's a pretty cool song. But he passed away at 62 from stomach cancer. So
Way
you
too
never
young.
know,
Way
folks.
too young,
Yeah.
man.
So cheers to you, Toby.
Live every day.
Yeah. Live every day, even if you're exhausted. Like Eric said, he's exhausted already
He's
from the
already
Mardi Gras.
exhausted.
Yeah,
Well,
from the
Steve,
Mardi Gras celebrations.
very fitting. I did post my thought for the day today, as I
You
do
did.
every day.
Yeah. Yes, you do.
And I don't know if you remember what it said,
I don't, but I
but
did read it.
we'll remind everyone what it said just because it was very fitting for what we're talking about here.
Okay.
And it said, appreciate the gift of life and the opportunity of this day by embracing it with gratitude and intention.
Yes, every day should be like that. Gratitude is huge. Huge. Um, it'll get you everything you want in life. I was on Facebook, Billy Sheehan, the bass player um, from Mr. Big, David Lee Ross Band, Talus, um, icon in the bass community. Yeah. Is very he posts a lot on Facebook, and he's currently on tour with Mr. Big, and he's very
He is
responsive to.
with Nick DiVirgilio from Spock's Beard on
Yeah.
drums.
Oh, okay. But he's very responsive to comments, which most quote unquote famous people aren't. But he is, like, if you put something in there, if you write a comment that is worth responding to, he will acknowledge you. He'll respond to you and say something, or he'll at the very least give it a like or something like that.
It's pretty
So
cool.
his posts come up on my feed all the time because I interact with him. And there was something a few weeks ago he said about gratitude, and I commented back. Maybe this was a couple months ago, actually. I think it was in December. Um, and I commented something like, "You get everything you want in life if you're grateful," or something to that effect. And he responded to it and put a love on it and something like that. And I was like, "Oh wow, Billy Sheehan acknowledged me. That's pretty cool." So since then, I've been kind of interacting with his posts, and every time I do, he acknowledges that I said something, and that's pretty neat. Um,
That's pretty cool, Steve. We should have him on the show. Hook it up, man.
I would really like that, and
Let's get him on.
I've considered that, and I'm not sure how I would reach out to him, but I would. I think I can through Facebook, and we'll see. We'll see
Yeah,
if
when
we
you
can
tell
get
him
a
gratitude is an
thing in.
excellent thing, and I'd be very grateful if you would join us on the Cover Band
Yeah,
Central podcast. Here's the link. Here's my private number. Call me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, he's on tour right now, so maybe when his tour's over, um, we could do that, or he could do it maybe while he's on tour. I don't know. I got to get up the guts to do
We could
that.
do a pre-recorded thing. Listen, send me his information. I'll have my people reach out to him.
There you go.
I'm
There
not
you go.
worried about that.
I have a lot I would talk to him about, though. Boy,
Yeah.
as a bass player, boy, oh boy.
Hijack the
Uh,
whole episode.
yeah. Um, but yeah, so Mardi Gras coming up this next Tuesday is Fat Tuesday, and
Yeah.
So it's busy time here in New Orleans. This last weekend was pretty busy. Pain in the ass, really, mostly because of traffic and street closures, and you can't. You
Yeah,
just
but great gigs, man. Packed clubs.
Yeah, not this past weekend as much during the day. Eric might have had, he probably had some packed clubs over at Crazy Corner at night. Um, but we still had pretty good crowds. But this coming week, we're playing during the day, our normal shift. Actually, not our normal shift. We're doing 1 o'clock in the afternoon to 6:15
Hmm.
in the evening. And we're doing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 5 days in a row.
Wow. Haven't done that in
Yeah,
a while.
I haven't done that in a while. Yeah, and that's
Should be fun.
same same time slot every day. And then, yeah, most definitely, at least by Saturday, it's going to be packed. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, it's going to be packed crowds. And yeah, the rain. Eric mentioned the rain. He said getting to Crazy Corner. I don't know. Did it flood in Crazy Corner or something? But it like poured buckets on Saturday and for hours. And when we were done, it was still raining. We were done at 6:15. It was still pouring. And then everybody got an alert on their phone saying there's flash flooding. Don't drive right now. So,
And you know who
um,
that's the worst for, Steve?
who's that?
The drummer in the band. At least up this way, because you got to unload and load in the pouring rain.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah,
drag.
yeah. We don't really have to do that here.
Yeah, I
The
know. That's
drummer
why I
doesn't
said
really.
up here. Drummer Baba you carries sticks and cymbals and
Yeah, I mean,
you know.
most of the stuff. My drummer Jason leaves at the club, and so he doesn't have to carry it back and forth.
You better be weary about leaving stuff at the club, man. People walk off with your
Yeah,
stuff,
I
you know?
know. Well, we
No
have
bueno.
we have a closet now that we're able to use to put our shit in, and we were told, yeah, we're not allowed to leave anything out in the open at all, or we'll get fired or something. I don't know. So we managed it. We had to do some Tetris kind of work to squeeze things in. We have kind of
Tetris. Yes,
Yeah,
excellent game.
we had kind of two locations to work with. So, but I took my bass home with me. But over the weekend, I'll leave my bass there. But it's going to be locked up, so
Mm.
I'll be good. Um, Somebody else said, "Sup, Steve," and I don't know who you are. If you're watching in the Facebook group,
Sup.
just click the link to let StreamYard show your name, so we know who you are. All we're seeing is Facebook user, but sup to
Sup, Facebook user.
whoever that is. Yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it because I do like playing to big crowds. Obviously, everybody loves that when it's jam packed. It is kind of the amateur hour though, where you have people that aren't necessarily here all the time or don't drink a lot all the time.
Yeah, but that's the entertaining part of the whole
It
evening,
is.
Steve. You
It is.
kidding me? You know,
It
that's
is. Yeah, and from the safety of the stage, it is fun to watch.
yes, for your
Uh,
safe haven observatory. You get to see
yes.
all kinds of shenanigans.
Another person, hey brother, I'm gonna have to go check who these people are because I don't know who that is. And but Harold's here from upstate New York. What's up, Harold? I'm gonna go.
Harold.
I'm gonna go look and see who these
What's
people are.
happening, Harold?
People are that are commenting. Oh, that was Shannon said, "Hey brother." Trey Rickerson said, "Sup, Steve." Cool. All right, I gotta go back here. All right, so but the biggest pain in the ass and the stress for me is always the driving in the parking situation. However, we're gonna a bunch of the guys from the band are gonna come here to my apartment because I'm the only one that lives close. Everybody lives far away.
Hmm. What's far away? Like hour and a half
Hour
away?
and a half, yeah. Um, so a couple of the guys are gonna come here to my apartment and stay here for the duration. So we're gonna just either carpool in or Uber in. We'll probably carpool in because we'll get parking a little right outside the quarter, not too far a walk, and it won't be that expensive. So with that stress out of the way, then yeah, I can enjoy the 5 days of revelry in New Orleans for Mardi Gras.
So since you're hosting as the Airbnb, someone else
Yes.
and you'll get to just be dropped off at the front door of the club?
No. We'll have to. You can't drive in the quarter during Mardi Gras.
Hmm.
Um, so we will go. We'll get dropped off. If we Uber, we'll get dropped off just outside the quarter. Right on the outside of it, and we'll walk.
And there you go.
Yeah. And it's not too bad. It's, less than a 10-minute walk.
And since no one has to bring anything because it's all staged at the club, you don't have
Right.
to pack your Uber full of stuff.
Right. Yeah. I always bring my backpack with me, and I'll have a cooler. I always bring a cooler with lunch and water. We will be safe too. Yes. The,
Snacks.
no snacks. But the fact that we're playing during the day is generally much safer than at
No
night.
snacks? Like a Slim Jim or something? Nothing?
No snacks. I bring lunch.
Yeah, but gotta eat more than just lunch.
No, that's it. Lunch is good enough. I eat breakfast, a nice breakfast before I leave, and eat lunch midday, and
You don't have,
then
like,
when I
celery in a little
get
cup
home,
on your mic stand or
no
something you can just, like, chomp on, for
celery.
nourishment?
No, I don't eat
Uh,
celery ever, really.
you should try it, it's good.
Certainly not at a gig.
You'd like it, it's crunchy.
Marianne's here. Hi, Marianne. She said, "How's it going? Did you get your bass back?" No, I did not. It's gone. It is in someone else's hands.
But you got a new base, Marianne, which is much
I got
better.
2 new ones. One of them is behind me, right there.
Yeah.
Spectre, or maybe it's on this side. Yeah, Spectre. There's 2 specters behind me, so it's hard to tell them backwards. But yeah, whatever. Maybe it'll turn up someday somewhere. Who knows? Just like
You
magic.
never know, Steve. It
Yeah.
just might reappear.
I should have carved my initials in it.
Yeah.
Courtney's in Kentucky. What's
Hey,
up, Courtney?
let's do that on tonight's episode. Let's watch you carve your initials into your new base.
No.
Who wants to see that? Everyone raise their hands. Yes.
How about no? Harold said, "Someone steal it." Yes. If you go back 2 episodes, you can listen to the story. But somebody stole my bass.
Yeah.
Yes. Madison's in Pennsylvania. Says, "Hey, what's up, Madison?"
Hey now.
Eric says, "Do it," about, I guess, carving the initials.
Yes. See, I have support.
I'll do it. I'm not
Come on,
going to carve it.
bring it up.
Maybe I'll use a soldering iron and just melt it in.
You have to brand your bass.
Don't ruin a brand new instrument, she says. Well, I don't know if that would be called ruining it.
And you certainly wouldn't put it on the front. You'd put it on the back.
On the back, yeah. That's my
Yeah,
stamp on it.
absolutely.
Big SW there.
Yeah.
I should put our names up. I never do that.
You should just do it with a screwdriver, though. It's more authentic than like a soldering iron. Make it all nice. You just got to be like.
True. Maybe I'll test it out on a piece of wood and see what looks best.
There you go. Report back, Steve. Let us know.
Yes, I will. So that's what I got coming up. So next week we will not have a podcast because that will be the last day of playing, and I will be exhausted, and I won't be home in time anyway.
That's okay, Steve. We could take a week off.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
For the sake of gigging, in the spirit of Cover Band Central, we'll make the exception.
Yes. So I'm trying to think of where I want to go from here.
Where do you want to go, Steve?
Well, all right.
Take us on a journey.
I'm gonna take a sip of this here.
I will join you.
Red Solo Cup. So I watch the Grammys Sunday night. I watch the Grammys every year. I love the Grammys. And I know a lot of people, especially people my age or our age, are over it. And they're like, I don't know who these people are and blah, blah, blah. But I watch it every year. And I did attend the Grammys one year, 1991. Did I ever tell you that story?
I think they booed you when you made your speech. Is that the year you went?
No.
Oh.
Did I ever, seriously, did I ever tell you that story?
No, I don't think you did.
Because that's a great story, man. Maybe I should tell that story now. I think it's worth.
Why don't you tell us the story,
I'll
Steve?
tell
It'll set the stage for the Grammys, because I was gigging on Sunday, so I did not watch the Grammys, but I was actively participating in creating music as a tribute to the spirit of the Grammys.
I'll tell the abridged story. Madison says yes to initials, by the way, and Harold, no, it was not insured. So yeah, 1991. I was working at Sam Goody, which was a music retail store. Back then, when there were music retail stores where you could buy
back in the day, we used to buy
CDs.
like physical music.
91, yeah. So I was 91. I was 23 because it was early 91.
Still wee lad.
Yes, still wee lad, super long hair. Worked as assistant manager at Sam Goody and Willowbrook Mall in Wayne, which was the superstore or one of the superstores of the area. And there was this girl who was friends with another one of the assistant managers who worked for John Schur, who was the big promoter in the area in the 80s and 90s for
Yes.
all the big arena shows and stuff.
Mhm.
And the Grammys that year were going to be in New York City at Radio City Music Hall. And one of her jobs was to get people to be talent escorts. And this wasn't something I knew about ever before, and I've never heard about since. But apparently, when there's award shows or things like that, they hire people to show the various talents around, like where to go, where's your dressing room, where do you go get makeup, where's your seat, stuff like that. Just sort of lackeys, whatever. And so this girl had like a little thing for me, and she's was mentioning to the assistant manager that she had these positions that she needed to fill. And I said, I volunteered. I was like, oh, I would love to do this, be a talent escort at the Grammy Awards. It'd be neat. And I didn't even know anything about it. And I thought she was cute too. So I'm
And
like,
was
oh
she
yeah,
like,
sure, I'll
"Steve, you
do
can
this.
escort me."
No, we never got any further than this,
All right.
but she said, okay, show up on this day. It was like a early afternoon weekend day. And you'll be assigned somebody. So you had to go to this. I'm not sure if we went to Radio City, but we went somewhere, and
And
they
no
just assigned.
background check or anything, because you could just be some derelict off the street, and she's like, "Yeah,
They
come
might have
escort talent."
they might have done background checks for people, but I guess she knew me. She's enough
She
as
vouched for
being,
you to her Uncle
yeah, I
John.
guess. But I wasn't high up on the totem pole, as you'll find out. Um,
You're
so
gonna
all these
escort
people, all these people
Beyonce's
show up,
driver.
right? You're right. This is '91. There's no Beyonce.
No, I know, I'm saying, like, you know, you get to hang out with
Um,
Guns N' Roses driver.
yeah. But so we show up and they give this meeting for like an hour or whatever, and everybody's there, all these talent escorts, and everybody, okay, you're getting John Bon Jovi, you're getting Wilson Phillips, and blah blah blah. And I don't remember how it was divvied out, but I ended up being the talent escort for Placido Domingo, who was
Yes.
one of the three tenors, opera singer. And I'm like, there's all these rock stars there. I'm like, Placido Domingo.
And you're like, "I work with Sam Goody, man." He's like, "Excellent. Where's my dressing room?"
Right. This I could tell the story so long. I got to try to make it shorter.
Yeah, try to abbreviate it. We're gonna run out of time.
I know.
And then I
So
got him a glass of water. Oh, that's all the time we have tonight, folks. Sorry. Doom, doom, dun, 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 dun. Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, so I'm not given any coaching, any instructions at all, except to show up at this time, and your talent is Placido Domingo. That's it.
No coaching whatsoever.
Nothing,
Did
no
it tell you what?
instructions,
Did it
nothing.
tell you dress code? Did you have to wear like certain
No
clothes?
dress code, and I didn't know, so I was like, "All right, do I need to get a tux? Should I get a tux?" So I did. I went and rented a tux at Willowbrook, and I had my super long hair, and
Hey,
I was like,
always best to be the best dressed guy in the room and not the most underdressed. So kudos for
I
that.
suppose, yeah. So I was like, "Should I tie my hair back? Should I leave my super long hair down?" And I decided to just leave it down,
It's
just be
Grammys,
myself.
man. Sure, rock it out.
Grammys, yeah. So I show up at Radio City early. It was, you had to be there super early in the day. The show's at night, but you had to be there in the day.
And
And
you
I got
walked
there.
up and they were like, "Fabio!"
No,
And you were like, "No."
no. Um, and immediately I got a pass, all access. And so I have all access to Radio City Music Hall, backstage, dressing rooms, everything. And, wear it around on a thing on my
Yeah,
around
lanyard,
my
you're
neck,
walking around, you're
a
like, "Yeah, I'm
lanyard or
cool, I'm
whatever.
cool, I'm cool."
Yeah, yeah. Like Wayne's World, like, yeah, in the back, the
Like, "Yeah, I'm
backstage.
going ba I'm in. Look,
But
see?" Okay.
I wasn't thinking of it like that. Because I was so focused on like, what am I supposed to do? Like, and just trying to ask other people, like, have you done this before? What, and other people are like, I don't know. Like, but everybody kind of knew other people there, and I just didn't know anybody. So I'm just like, And so we're
What if
at
you just walk up to random people, like, you're like, "Oh, there's Axl Rose," and you just go, "Hey, I'm your escort, Axl. My name's Steve. How you doing? Let's go. Come with me."
yeah, no. No, it was, I mean, I was given some sort of instruction, and I do have still, I think, like a itinerary, a printed one. I think I still have it because I saw it recently of, what time people are supposed to get there and blah blah blah. So, I'm there early. We're sitting in the seats, Radio City, and then watching people rehearsing. And Garth Brooks was there. He did Friends in Low Places. That was his first big hit, and I guess he was nominated that year. And he had a big show that he did, or a big performance that he did for that. So I watched that rehearsal, and then a bunch of other ones. And Bette Midler was singing that day. She sang not the Wind
Did you
Beneath My
heckle
Wings,
anybody when you were there?
but the ones. Well, no, no, I would do
Oh.
that. But she sang whatever that song was after that, Beneath My
"Wind
Wings.
Beneath My Wings."
The one that was after that, the single that was after that, she sang that. But when she came in, she's walking on this. She walks from the side of the stage and she's saying hello to people, and she's like exactly as you expect Bette Midler to be, like the personality you would think she would have, and she
Uh-huh.
was just like that. And watched that rehearsal, and it was phenomenal. So then, I'll just jump to,
And
yeah.
were you like, "Bet, it's Steve, remember
No,
me?"
no, I was sitting in the
Oh.
audience, with a bunch of other people, just quietly
I
watching.
wish I would've known you back then. I coulda coached you on how to act at the Grammys being with the All Access Pass. We'd had a much
I
better
was a,
time.
23-year-old kid. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't know what was going on. So I'll get to, like, so people are arriving. You go to this backstage area, and on the street, limos are dropping them off, and I'm standing there waiting for Placido Domingo. I pretty much knew what he looked like, but I wasn't absolutely positive. But I pretty much knew. But then people are coming in, like John Bon Jovi comes in and he's standing right next to me, and then Vanilla Ice is standing there, and I see like the back of his head is right in front of me with all the patterns shaved into his head,
Did you
and
touch
I'm
him,
like,
like, scratch his head and be like, "Ice, ice,
no,
baby"?
I was thinking to myself though, like I could just punch Vanilla Ice right now, right in the back of the head.
Hey, you'd be on you'd may definitely be newsworthy.
Yeah, and I'll be on like Letterman, and then
Talent
like,
escort gets in brawl with Vanilla Ice,
yeah.
broken up by John Bon Jovi.
And then like Phil Collins comes in, and Michael Bolton and Gloria Stefan, and then Natalie Cole comes in, and she comes right up to me and she goes, "Is the green room in the same place as it was for the HBO special?" And I'm like, I don't think I uttered a single understandable word. I'm just like,
Absolutely. Do you know where you're going? I can help you.
no, because I had no idea where the green
I
room
know, but
was.
it's fake it till you make it, man.
No, and I mean, it was very overwhelming. You're looking around, it's like all these stars that are standing right next to you. And Natalie Cole was tall, and my God, she was gorgeous in person. She was just stunning. Like standing right next to her, I'm like, holy moly! Like I never realized how beautiful she was. Um, and then like Sting is, I mean, all these people come in, and then finally Placido comes in, and I say hello to him, I tell him who I am, and I bring him to. I think first I brought him to makeup, and I again really very barely any instruction of what I'm supposed to be doing. So he goes into the makeup place and he sits down, and I'm just standing there. And there's like one other person's kind of standing there, and we're just kind of shooting the shit a little bit. And I'm just
Did you
standing there
start applying
waiting.
makeup to him like you were supposed to be there?
No, no, no. I'm
Oh.
just standing kind of behind it, just waiting. And I know the next thing I have to do is bring him to his dressing room. So, and then I'm talking to this other person about the Garth Brooks performance, Friends in Low Places. I was saying something about it, and it was positive, whatever it was I was saying. I don't remember. But then I looked to my right, to the right of Placido Domingo, and there's Garth Brooks sitting in the chair. And I'm like,
He's like, "Stop talking
and
shit
he's
about me, you
looking, yeah,
punk."
he looks in the mirror, kind of looks up at me, and then just that's it. There was nothing there.
Imagine if you were bad mouthing him, you're like, "Oh,
I
yeah, that's a
know.
freaking guy, man, blah, blah, blah," and he's like,
Like,
"Yeah,
what is this
I'm
country
right here.
shit going
I'm
on?
right here."
It's right.
He's like, "You
So he's
long hair rocker."
So I bring him up to his dressing room, and at Radio City Music Hall, it was upstairs. He had to go this elevator. It's like 6th floor or something. And the dressing room, there's the hallway in this whole thing is super narrow, and then on either side there's rooms, and they're not big rooms,
And
just
Placido's like,
little rooms.
"Why are you taking me to the roof? This
No, I
this
bring
is
and
not my dressing room."
he barely spoke any English too, so it
He
was
didn't have
like,
an interpreter with him?
and he really didn't seem like he was enjoying my presence. He wasn't rude or anything, but he just it seemed like to him like I was unnecessary. But I was still like, I have a job to do. I got to do it. So I bring him to
You
his
should have
dressing
told
room.
him, "Listen, down the hall to the left, I'm gonna go help Natalie Cole to her dressing room because she's way cooler than you are, so eat it, Placido."
No, somebody else had Natalie Cole, somebody cooler than me. Um, and she should have asked, where the hell was her talent escort at the
That's what I'm
time?
saying, you should have been like, "Oh, Natalie, I'm Steve Witchell, I'm your talent escort, I will be more than happy to take you to your room," and just leave Placido in the dust and be like, "I don't know, I don't even know what Placido Domingo looks like, I thought you said Natalie Cole. Sorry."
Um, yeah, I probably could have done that. But anyway, so I bring him to his dressing room. He goes inside, and I'm standing now in the hallway, super narrow hallway. I'm standing right outside the door. And I'm like, I figure I have to wait for him, and then I have to bring him to his next place. And his next place was right down the hall where he had to go over what he was saying because he was he was a presenter, I believe, and he was early in the show, and he was had to read through it and make sure he understood all the. Again, didn't speak English great, so he had to kind of go through it.
The Grammy go
So I'm
to.
standing there waiting, and then I look to my left, and there's, again, narrow hallway, rooms up, across from each other, and then down the end of the hallway to the left, my left, was one more room that was kind of facing out into the hallway, and the door was open, and I see Joe Perry from Aerosmith sitting in a chair with his foot up with a guitar, and just sitting there, and I'm like,
You're like, "JP, what's happening, brother?"
No, that's Aerosmith.
And he's
Or,
like,
or that. And but I'm trying to keep cool. I'm like, I can't act like a fan here. I got to be professional and stuff. And then while I'm standing there, Steven Tyler starts walking out of the room and walks, and I have to kind of very narrow hallway, like can barely fit two people across. So he's walking by me, and he looks up at me and just excuse me or something. And I said, hey, and that was it.
and you're like, "Hey,
And
Steven,
walked outside.
can you get Perry a glass of water? He was thirsty. He was asking me to get it
Right,
for him,
right,
but
right.
I'm busy escorting other talent."
And I don't know where he's going. Whatever. Really short guy, Steven Tyler in person. I'm 6 feet, so that was kind of cool. And then Placido comes out. I bring him to this other room, which is with Gary Shandling, who is the host of that Grammy Awards that year. And I walk in this room with Placido, and there's one other guy there that is supposed to help Placido with his presentation, and Gary Shandling is there, and then me. And I'm just standing there in the room, and Placido's looking at the sheet, and he's trying to pronounce the words right. And then Gary Shandling's doing something, and he keeps looking at me like as if like, what the fuck are you doing in here?
And you're like,
Who the
"I'm
hell are
I'm
you?
the tester, dude. Lay some jokes on me. We gotta make sure the monologue's good. Let me
Right,
have
right.
it. What do you got?"
No, I was nervous, dude. I could not think of funny things like that at the time. um, and so I was like, all right, I'm just gonna leave him. I kind of got the vibe. All right, I need to leave. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna leave him. I'll come back, and then I'll bring him to his seat. That was the next thing I needed to do. So I go, I start wandering around, and there's other things that happen during the day. Like I was in the elevator with David Crosby, just me and David Crosby are in the elevator. I'm like, that's David Crosby. Didn't say a word to him. And there to walk backstage from the from the audience part, it was again a very narrow little doorway, um, and you had to people were walking in and out of there, all the stars and everything. That's how they walked in and out. It was stage left, and I brushed by Mariah Carey. This was Mariah Carey was new, her first album, and I brushed by her as she was walking out. I'm walking in, and we our bodies touched, and then I saw Harry Connick Jr. and his wife Jill Goodacre, stunning, beautiful, and I'm walking towards the backstage area. I see Jill Goodacre, and I'm like, I just can't stop looking at her. She's beautiful, and then Harry Connick standing next to her, and then I look at
"What you
Harry
looking
Connick.
at, kid?"
I look at Harry Connick, and then he's looking at me, and I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, and then I just like turn my oh boy, I can't do this. Um, I went in the green room, and there was Michael Bolton, Gloria Stefan, and Sting are standing in a circle talking, and I'm just like standing right next to him, like,
"Hey,
oh,
what are you
like,
guys talking about?"
yeah, Eric. Yeah, I'm not that cool, Eric. This is a long time
This
ago.
is a
Or
great story,
maybe.
man. I never heard this story. I didn't know you were
Yeah.
at the Grammys. This is awesome.
All right. So I'm wandering around, and now Placido's up there. So I like figure, okay, I got to go back and get him,
Gotta go
bring him to
tend
his
to him.
seat. So I go back up, where he was, and he's not there. And I'm like, oh no, I lost Placido.
You lost your
I,
talent, Steve.
I'm screwing up my job, and now I'm in panic mode. And it's like 10 minutes
Tour
before
handler.
10 yeah, it's 10 minutes before the broadcast is supposed to start,
And you look
and
out the
I'm like,
window and someone's shoving him in the trunk of a car and he's handcuffed, and you're like, "Oh my god, I lost Placido Domingo, and
that'll
now
be
I'm
on the
gonna
news.
get fired."
That'll be on the news. Talent escort Steve Witchell lost Placido Domingo at the Grammy Awards
Placido
this year,
Domingo kidnapped from the
and
Grammys.
he was
Breaking
kidnapped,
news.
and it's all been pinned on
Talent
the
handler at
talent
missing
escort
talent
Steve
handler
Witchell.
missing and at large, maybe armed prime suspect.
That's how I felt. I just felt like this guy doesn't really speak English, and I'm in panic mode. So I'm literally
Where's
just
my Steve? Where's my Steve?
I'm literally running around Radio City Music Hall, backstage, green room, upstairs to the dressing rooms, all over the place looking for this guy. And then it's like it's curtain time, it's the orchestra's playing, and
And
you
no
can and
Placido.
I've watched it on TV to see if I could see this, but I wasn't able to. But as the music's playing, ladies and gentlemen, the 33rd annual, I am in the front, like right in front of the lip of the stage, in front of all the seats in that little area there. I am walking back and forth looking for Placido Domingo. And
And he's
I'm
on the
and,
stage with his cue card ready to go.
yeah, and eventually I'm like, all right, I blew it. I gotta go. And so our job during the show was to be seat fillers. So, and you see that all the time in award shows. So I went and found an empty seat and just sat
Who
down.
who
I'm
who'd
like,
you sit next to? Anybody famous?
nobody, well, not yet, but no, I was just sitting, in the audience, whatever. I mean, it was a good seat for Radio City. Um, but there was nobody sitting. I was like in the second seat in, and there was nobody in that first seat, and nobody to my right either. And so I'm like, just I couldn't enjoy anything. I'm like, oh, I just blew it. I screwed up this whole thing. And then like 10 minutes into the show, ladies and gentlemen, presenting the award for the blah blah blah, Placido Domingo, and he comes out and he does his thing, and I'm like, okay, he's there. It's safe. I didn't screw it up. And then I was able to enjoy the rest of the show. But it
And
was
that
it
was your
was
only task? Like, then you had the whole rest of the night off?
I had to be a seat filler for the night.
But, I mean, you didn't have to go corral Placido and make sure he
Nope.
had a cocktail or something, right? You were done
No,
with
no,
him.
no, no, no. I was done with him.
Your
That
duty
was
was
it.
over for the evening.
That was my duty. It was done. And yeah, during the show, Alana Miles, she had Black Velvet. That was her big single, and she was nominated that um, for best new artist, I think, or something with the single, and she won one of the Grammys. And she at one point she was coming down the aisle, and then she just sits right next to me in that empty seat to my left. And she looked great. She was wearing all leather.
Did you give her a
And
big hug and say, "Good job"?
no, I did. I said congratulations on your Grammy, and she just said a polite thank you, and then
And
10
you put your
seconds
hand
later,
on her thigh, and she was like, "Get off me, creep."
and 10 seconds later, she got up and walked away and went somewhere else. Um, and yeah, that was pretty much it. There's other things that happened during the day, but I can't get into all that stuff. But yeah, when again,
Very
really
cool.
unsupervised. Really, when it was over, nobody came up to me and said, okay, you're free to go or whatever. And I'm just kind of wandering around. And again, with all these stars or like Radio City, you've been to Radio City, right? Like out.
Did you grab, like, a champagne off one of the trays and, like, walk up to guys like, "Hey, cheers, man, good job."
No, I think I did get a drink though. Uh, but I just and then I walk out, and then all of a sudden you're just in the Manhattan city street, and you're like, it's weird. Like during the day, there was no food provided for us or anything, so I went out. I think there was like a green room later I discovered, but I didn't know. Again, nobody told me anything. And I went out during the day in my tux before everything started. I went out and got a dirty water dog from one of the hot dog stands.
"Hey, I'm a talent handler. Placido Domingo's looking for a dirty water dog. I need 3 to go." Put it on his tab.
uh, well, you'll have to, Sarah, you'll have to go back and listen to the beginning. I was a talent escort at the Grammy Awards in 1991 at Radio City Music Hall. Sarah said
Excellent.
I'm a great storyteller. Thanks, Sarah. That's that story.
That's
Anyway,
fantastic story. Condensed version too.
all right, let's take a break for the audio podcast, and we'll get back and talk about this year's Grammys. So, yeah, I watched this year's Grammys, and I really enjoyed it. Um, I wrote down the performances that I really liked. Miley Cyrus, and not everybody, a lot of people think of her still as Hannah Montana, that little kid, but she's really good, and she's a rocker, and she won a Grammy for Flowers, her single. Annie Lennox did Nothing Compares to You as a tribute to Sinead O'Connor. Just fantastic. Annie Lennox was really good. Stevie Wonder was there and singing, and he was part of the In Memoriam tribute thing. Stevie Wonder is just ridiculous. Tracy Chapman did Fast Car, um, along with Luke Combs, who's a country artist, and
Hmm.
it was just a fantastic performance. Billie Eilish too, um, won a Grammy for the Barbie song, and she's really good, and that song was great. John Baptiste, New Orleans guy, great performance, and Fantasia Barrina did tribute to Tina Turner, Proud Mary, and just off the charts, man. Really talented singer. She was an American Idol winner season 3.
Yeah, early.
Yeah, and she's just great. So I know a lot of people don't dig it, but I just love the Grammys. I love the celebration. I love anything that is a celebration of music, Tony.
Of
You know what
course,
I'm saying?
Steve, because we're musicians
Yeah,
and we're non-judgmental and we enjoy the whole aura, lifestyle, creation, listening to everything music.
right.
Musical
Yes.
cats.
Yes, I am. And so the other thing was, and this will get into the topic, which is, we haven't gotten to yet now, 37 and a half minutes into this. But
It was worth it for the Grammy story, though.
okay, I didn't plan on telling that, but
We can
that's cool.
condense the topic if we need to.
Yeah. So there's a new special on Netflix called the Greatest Night in Pop, and it is the making of We Are the World, from 1985.
Mm.
And it's amazing that it's taken so long for them to put together a documentary for this, almost 40 years. Um, but it's kind of worth it because of the nostalgia. And anybody that's into a music fan like me, or into nostalgia too, I really highly recommend it. It gave me chills watching the whole thing and how it was put together. And so to segue into the topic, is one of the things about it that was so fascinating to watch was you have all these people, all these very, very famous people, very successful recording artists in one room on one night. That's how they did it. It was just one night of them recording. So when you see the video of We Are the World, I'm sure you've seen it.
Hmm.
That's the recording. That's them recording it, the song. That's not lip syncing. That's not, they did it later. That's them recording the song there, right there. And just seeing it from the perspective of these people going in there. And there's certain people that they interviewed today to talk about it, like Springsteen, Huey Lewis, Lionel Richie, who put the whole thing together,
Hmm.
and how
What
humble
about
they
Bono? Did
were.
they interview him?
Bono wasn't there for that. He didn't do We Are the World. He did the other one.
Oh, do they know it's Christmas?
Yeah. Um, but seeing how like humbled they are and intimidated they are by these other famous people, even though they're a very successful star, famous, platinum selling, whatever, they're still as human as we are. And it doesn't really matter the level you're at in this industry. You're still going to have times when you feel insecure, when you make mistakes, when you struggle. And as long as you're giving your best effort, it's okay. It's normal, and it's supposed to happen that way. When you watch this special and you see like a great singer like Huey Lewis, to me, is one of the greatest pop rock singers and bands, and you see him just like,
Well,
I don't
at
know if I can sing after that, you
yeah, and
know?
at that time too, remember he had all kinds of videos on MTV. He was like he was at the one of the he was on top of his game at that time, he was all
Huge.
over the place.
Yeah,
He was huge.
yeah. But then you have Michael Jackson and Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder, and, he's looking around and, like,
Yeah,
it
he's
was
he's with his idols.
yeah, but he's like, and so they do a bunch of different takes on parts, like, there's certain people in that song, if you remember, it had a little solo line,
Mhm.
just 1 line or maybe 2 lines, and, like, they would do a couple different takes of them, and, there's one where Huey Lewis he sings this part, and then he's like and he was a little flat on one of the notes, and he's just like you see how humble he is about it, and he tries to make a joke. He says, "I just wanted to see if you guys were paying attention." But, when he's talking about you guys, he's looking around the room at, Diana Ross, like Billy Joel, Bob Dylan, just all these incredible,
Yeah, all
huge
A-list top talent.
stars who were just people. They're just people who, happen to be big recording artists, but
Well,
they're
that's what
they're just
struck me when you were telling your Grammy story. It's like, you're starstruck as a 23-year-old kid and you're seeing all these famous people, but they're just people,
yeah,
like you and me. They just happen to have
yeah,
a different job and they've been recognized and awarded for their efforts, right? And they happen to be in the public eye, but it doesn't make them any different. They still have insecurities. They still have, same fears and dreams and goals that any normal person would have, just at a different level, you know?
yeah. But it's still the same. Even if it's a different level, it's still the same things. We're all human beings. We all experience these same feelings and these same difficulties and struggles and doubts and fears and all of it. No matter what level you're at, you still do it. You still experience the same exact things. It's just about how you handle it that makes the difference. Like, so Bob Dylan, not known for a great singer, not known for a superior songwriter, but not known as a singer, but he's there to sing. And so he's got his solo part and you see him doing it and he's got the headphones on, he's listening to the track and he's holding up his sheet and he's going,
Better place for you and me.
but he's not really even projecting. He's just like, we are the world. We are the, he's just and so and he's like and you see him like on his face just like the doubt and like he's like like the look of like I don't know what I'm doing,
Hmm.
and I'm ashamed and I'm here around all these great people and they recognize a couple of people like Lionel Richie was kind of running the thing, Quincy Jones too,
It's like,
who was brilliant,
Bobby, get it
brilliant.
together, Bobby.
Yeah, well, they comforted him, and then helped him along. And what ended up happening was they brought him over to Stevie Wonder by the piano, and they said, like Lionel Richie's narrating here, it says Stevie Wonder is great at mimicking people. So to teach Bob Dylan his part, Stevie Wonder sings it like Bob Dylan, and he's going like "We are the world," and he's playing piano
That's
and
great.
to show Bob Dylan what to sing. And they show that part of Bob Dylan standing next to Stevie Wonder, and now they're all smiles, and Bob Dylan's you see his face light up, and like, and then you go see him actually record the track, and like, okay, that's how that came about. That's how that happened, and it's so cool to watch because you're like Bob Dylan. I mean, just legend, songwriter, brilliant, masterful storyteller, poet, but here he's this guy in this room with these other people that are really good, and he just doesn't know what to do. And it's like he's just a guy, he's just a person,
Just a dude.
just a dude that is in a situation. And so you're seeing that on every level with all these different people, all their different the different doubts and everything and their fears. And the famous thing was they had the sign at top of the door said check your ego at the door,
Mhm.
but there was still some ego, a little bit of it going on. But the way they had to do it in one night. That was it. They had to get it done. And they did it. They
So when
leave.
when you watch this, who in your opinion was exuding somewhat of an ego,
I couldn't.
if anyone? No?
I didn't really get a sense of it from anybody now.
Cool.
They allude to it sort of in there that, yeah, like it said, check ego at the door, but everybody still is trying to be in competition with each other. Everybody wants to do well in front of their peers. You want to, and they had them in a semicircle when they were doing the solo parts, and they went from left to right for their solo parts. And when you see the video, you see them, they step up to the mic and then they back up, and that's really what they were doing. But they're watching. They know when they're singing, all these other famous, great singers are watching them and watching that person and hoping that they do well, or judging them. You feel like that. You feel like, oh my God, they're going to judge me.
Kind of like Harry
But
Connick Jr. when he was giving you the evil eye for checking out his wife.
right. But then they're also supportive of each other too, and it's just really brilliant to watch. I'll probably watch it again, and I really hope you Tony, you get to watch it,
Yeah,
because
I'll definitely check it out now that I know about it.
it really gave me chills, and then I went back and watched the video again to see it from a different perspective, because I knew nothing about that story. What they were it was the American Music Awards that night in Los Angeles, and Lionel Richie was hosting it. And that was their opportunity to have all these people in one place
And too
in
bad they
Los
didn't need
Angeles.
talent handlers for that event.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
invent
know.
some
They
of
should have
these
called me.
people.
I was 85, so it would have been I was still in high school in 85. That's when I graduated.
85.
Yeah.
85, I was 17.
But so the thing I got from that is really, trying to relate it to my own cover band experience or band experience and other people's experiences, is that what I put in the description. Like, if you're trying, if you're at least trying, then you're doing good. You're good. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have challenges. You're going to have struggles, but you're going to keep taking baby steps towards whatever it is you want to achieve. And what frustrates me, and I'm not going to call out any names, but in my current working situation, when I don't see that happening, when I don't see people trying, that drives me crazy. It aggravates me, because it's like, well, it's not any better because you're not trying. And people might think, oh, I am trying, but you
Yeah,
really
there's
need to
different
put that
levels of
effort.
trying though, Steve,
Yeah.
And I think that you're more confident in your abilities when you're well rehearsed personally. Like
Hmm.
if you've practiced and you've done your homework and you've worked on your chops, you're going to be a lot more comfortable stretching on stage and not playing it safe, and going for it and bringing your best, because that's when you are at your best. It's not when you're in your comfort zone and you're just
Right.
doing your regular, singing the normal song you sing the same way or playing this thing the same way. It's when you're creating and you're in the moment. And it's not every gig, right? There's certain gigs you feel more creative and more inspired than others. But, when you're stretching and you have the confidence because you've practiced, that's when the magic happens. At least I feel that way.
I agree.
When you're not rehearsed, you're uncertain of something, you're doing a new song and you really don't own it yet, you're going to play it and sing it differently than you will 10 times from now when you do own it. You
Yeah.
can sense that level of confidence, and that it's just a different aura about it when you feel ownership of something, and then you're more tempted to not really be thinking about, oh man, I hope I'm doing this good, or I hope I'm doing my best, right? Because you're not really thinking about that because you're on autopilot in a sense, but there's another certain sense of confidence that comes with that, that's noticeable and doesn't come across as ego or bravado. It comes across like with some certainty, and you may have doubt to say like, oh, I hope I did it my best, but that's different than being hesitant or doubting yourself because you're not prepared.
Right. 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 Yeah. I tend to get more nervous when I am very prepared than when I'm
Really?
not. Yeah, like if I practice something over and over again and like make sure I got it right, make sure I got it right, and if I'm going to an audition or something like that, I'm like, I'm way more nervous then. If I go into like, I don't really care about this, whatever, then yeah, then I'm not going to be nervous.
Or take, for example, a song if you're auditioning and you gotta do 5 songs and 3 of them you've played thousands of times. You're gonna
Mhm.
play them different than the 2 that you just learned. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Whether you're flying by the seat of your pants or you rehearse them at home, because it's just that certain level of comfortability that you have with something, where, it shows. And that's always the thing about, playing music, right? You get when you're at the level that you and I have played so many gigs, and you're in a band that's well established and you have good musicians, you never take for granted when people come up and say, "Oh man, that band sounds great," or "Man, I really enjoyed what you played." Like never take that for granted, right? Because you've earned it in a sense, but it's also a booster to say, like, "Yes, I did bring my best tonight, and I appreciate the fact that you recognize that. Thank you."
hmm yeah,
It's never like, "Oh, yeah, thanks, man. Like, thanks a lot. Appreciate it." Like a half-hearted thing. Like if someone ever comes up to me and says that, I usually shake their hand or say, "I'm really glad you enjoyed it. Thanks for coming and, hope to see you again and really appreciate that your kind words. Thank you very much."
yeah.
Like really be gracious and show gratitude because it's genuine.
Gratitude. Yeah, yeah. It sure is, and it happens to me. It's rare that it happens to me about my playing specifically, but pretty much every week. Oh, the band sounds great.
Yeah.
Get that, and I always do appreciate it, and I always acknowledge that. Um, yeah, when you're enjoying yourself, you don't care really as much what people think. True.
It's also the
Um,
energy in the room too. Like I had a great gig Sunday, packed room, everyone up, dancing, applauding every song, engaged the whole time. Just makes for such a good time and a great feeling. Everyone in the
sure.
band played great. It was just really, one of those gigs where it's like, yeah, you really, walking out of that room at the end of the night, you really feel good. And as did everyone else that was walking out of that room, felt good.
Right.
That's
That's
what it's all
cool.
about, man. It's just
It's a
about
nice
making
feeling.
people feel good and enjoy their time that we spend together.
Agreed. And I'm hoping to do that this weekend. Hopefully, everybody will be safe and have fun and not get too drunk or
Well, you
crazy.
got 5 opportunities to make it happen, Steve, so
No,
you might go 5 for 5.
yeah. What I'm thinking of doing, I'm going to do. I'm going to film the whole experience from my point of view, including the guys coming here to my apartment, staying, traveling there, kind of behind the scenes, and then my perspective from the stage.
You gonna wear a body cam?
No, I have a digital camera. I wish I did though. That
That
would
would
be
be cool.
that would be easier. But I have a good digital camera that I'm gonna film the 5 days and try to put it into a video of my Mardi Gras experience.
You should hire one of your friends to be, like, the videographer and, like, vlog you and
Yeah.
flank you and, you know,
Unfortunately, all my friends are
capture gold.
musicians and they'll be working. I don't have any friends that aren't musicians. That's not true, but they're not here.
Ask the Uber driver, man, be like, "Hey, how much money are you gonna make tonight? I'll
Right.
tell you what, you know how to run a camera?
Yeah, no,
Hook
I'm
'em up."
not doing that. Because I want it from the stage perspective anyway, not from the
Mm,
audience perspective. And the behind the scenes thing. Make a little mini movie.
cool.
That's my plan. So in 2 weeks, I'll tell you all about it.
Yeah, right, off next week. Following week, we'll have live Steve Witchell video.
Yes. Um, Check out the brand new website, coverbandcentral.com out there. We revamped it and it's got a lot of quality content on there, articles, cool stuff. And I haven't mentioned Get Them to the Show. The ebook that I wrote about marketing, getthemtotheshow.com is how you can find that. And it's about, building your audience and getting people to come see you play. This system that I put in there works. And it's a cheap ebook. Get it.
Gets them
And
to the show.
yeah, and money back guarantee if you're not completely satisfied. All right, well, happy Mardi Gras, everybody, and yeah, check out Check out Cover Band Central on all the socials, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and all that stuff. And we'll see ya. Be good.